I want to talk to you all about something pretty spooky that I found out recently. I listened to another podcast called Monsters Among Us. It's a great pod. Shout out, listen to Monsters Among Us. But
Maybe do our show Monsters Among.
they occasionally talk about something
Derek,
that they,
I'm here.
yeah, Derek, a creature that they have dubbed the Pale Crawlers. And this is kind of a catch-all term for something that people have been seeing around the country since at least 2018 and up until present. You might remember the Fresno Crawlers. These things are kind of lumped in with that, but it gets scarier over time. There seems to be a second type of crawler, which we'll get into, which is much spookier. But
The Fresno Crawlers were the ones that are just the like stick legs, right?
yeah,
Well, they were wearing pants.
They looked kind of like
Yeah,
weird
but no torsos were heads.
feral hammer pants that had gone off on their own.
Do you remember the cartoon back in our
Solo
childhood
career.
where the kid, I think it was like a Warner Brothers one from like Animaniacs or something, Smarty Pants or something, and he wore like pants up to his eyeballs? He was basically the Fresno Nightcrawler.
No, I don't remember that. But
All right, I'm finding this.
Do you remember the time we looked up sexy Fresno Nightcrawler
Yeah, I'll find that.
Yep.
and were forever changed?
Forever changed for sure.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, we're going to be looking at a couple of articles here from Mysterious Universe. They do incredible work over there, down there, I should say. They're Australian, you see. Should I keep going like this? It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's usually not this bad.
I'm enthralled.
I think you're trapped between New Zealand and Australia.
I'm having a terrible Australian day. I tried to keep going. I tried to go deeper into the crevasse and it just got worse. I apologize, Australians. Regardless, Mysterious Universe does great work. As you know, they did a couple of great stories about the pale creature, the pale crawlers, and Monsters Among Us is constantly reporting on sightings and encounters from people. So, hit us up if you have anything to say about this.
I think Strange Familiars also has a story about it.
Interesting.
On this current podcast.
Interesting. So I'm just going to kind of read through this. This is by Brett Swancer over at Mysterious Universe. And I'll see what kind of, they've got some firsthand accounts in here that I really want to get to, but I want to make it clear what we're talking about. So it says, among the many strange encounters in the world of the paranormal, there are often those that serve to be particularly baffling. These are the cases that hover out beyond our ability to really classify them or put a name to them. Are they ghosts, mysterious animals, aliens, or what? No answers are clear in such account, and they lurk out there in the periphery of the fringe. Among these bizarre accounts are tales from all over the world of what appear to be some sort of thin, pale beings, often hunched over, crouching, and crawling. They have come to be known collectively as the Pale Crawlers, which are every bit as creepy as you might imagine.
I'm imagining it, and I'm trying not to scream.
I'm imagining it and thinking that the Hamburglar is telling me this.
This is probably one of the most well-known cases of these odd entities, that of the Fresno Nightcrawlers. Of course, we know the Fresno Nightcrawlers. We're attracted to the Fresno Nightcrawlers. We get it. 1990s, video came forward from Fresno, California. It was a family who were convinced about trespassers on their property. They take this video. What they see is a couple of pale beings, about a few feet high, no arms, just two long legs, kind of walk in pair of pants.
I posted it in our Discord if you want to see a
Yes.
picture. It's Mr. Smarty Pants from the WB cartoon
Yes.
Saturday Hour, but that's basically the Fresno Nightcrawler. I'll put
Yes.
some sexy Fresno Nightcrawlers on there now.
They called them the Fresno Nightcrawlers. They were on the Sci-Fi Channel Fact or Faked, which showed the footage seemed to be genuine, and they were unable to reproduce the same results by intentionally faking the video. Following the heels of this video, this time taken over in California's Yosemite National Park in March of 2011. In this case, surveillance cameras have been set up by park officials for the purpose of identifying some intruders who've been vandalizing an area of the park. What kind of Fresno Nightcrawler vandalized? How are they going to vandalize
Yeah,
it?
I'm trying to envision how. I guess just kicking shit
Yeah,
over.
that's it. Just kick something, you
Kicking
know.
out the newspaper stands and trash cans, writing hiss out really big
Dragging
and
it.
paint marker. Hiss. Again, they seem to have caught on tape something that was anything but human. A pair of spindly white entities loping across the frame on a hillside, one seemingly much smaller than the other, and both with what appears to be some sort of webbing connected to the knees to the upper body, connecting the knees to the upper body. Although they appear to be very similar, it is unknown if the Fresno creatures and the ones from Yosemite are related or not. And there have been theories ranging from this was all a hoax to they are native spirits from lore, ghosts, or even aliens. No one really knows.
Man, a lot of weird cryptids lope. That seems to be how they all travel.
This is true.
They're always loping.
They love to lope. Loping is one of the scariest ways to move. There's loping,
I think it's
crawling,
the weirdest one.
hopping like those Chinese vampires. My God. Something similar to these entities was cited in January 2004 in a case documented by researcher Albert S. Rosales. The sighting allegedly happened in Manchester, Dearborn County, Indiana, when a young man was driving along a remote rural area. As the witness rounded a bend, his headlights illuminated a tall, frail-looking, pale being crouched over a puddle of water. As the witness passed the thing, he looked back and could make out that it moved in a disjointed, odd manner and had, according to him, protruding joints that buckled out.
Okay.
As he watched
That's
the
way
thing,
freakier than the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
like rakish, where it's like very, very elongated limbs.
yeah, see,
protruding.
this is where they kind of make because they kind of try to connect the Fresno Nightcrawlers with the Pale Crawlers, and I think it's something different that we're talking about. This is why I wanted to talk about these things, because I wanted to get you guys' opinion on it. As he watched the thing flickering in the red light cast by his taillights, the crouched bone-white figure purportedly stood to a height of an estimated 6 to 7 feet inches tall and began to walk in a strange manner. Interestingly, as he watched, there was apparently another car coming along that seemed to swerve to avoid the thing before stopping. The witness would talk to the elderly couple in the car, and they would confirm having said the same thing, of which they said it was no human being, it was no man. They were all so spooked that they decided to drive out of there in close procession together. Indiana has produced some other similarly odd reports as well. In one case from the winter of 2016, the witness was out feeding goats on a farm in Davies, that's 2 S's, County.
Okay, I was wondering.
Not Davies County, Indiana, around 8 p.m. And when she finished, she started walking back. The witness would say of what happened next.
Okay, go on.
After I'd finished, I began to walk back. I had crossed one field and was about halfway through the narrow path when I started to hear a rustling in the underbrush. All I had with me was a little flashlight that only shined about 10 feet in front of me. I was almost to the end of the path when I spotted something. It was on all fours with a bony frame, elongated limbs, and pale skin. While the first part of that description sounds pretty generic, it did seem to have a long and highly flexible neck. Not long after I noticed it noticed me and bolted down the path. Oof. It ran, almost scuttling into the second field. This field had a smaller hill in the center. This thing fled and disappeared over one side. I ran as fast as I could around the other side of the small hill and zigzagged back to my house, where I quickly locked all of my doors. This thing was terrifying, but it seemed more watchful than anything for now.
Yeah, it's watching real aggressively.
Yeah, that's a spooky watch with its talk about rubbernecking. Scary. In another account from Indiana, documented in the National Cryptid Society database, we have a case from Michigan City, Indiana, 2012. The middle of a lightning storm to add some atmosphere, they say. The witness claims that she had been staying at the beach house of a friend by lake. It's pretty good. I'd work on it.
Thank you.
This is kind of sounds like a cannon, but then again, so does thunder. House of a friend by Lake Michigan, and that there had been a lightning storm at the time. At around 2 a.m., some of them went outside to smoke, nice, and watch the lightning. So you know they at least weren't virgins. And then
if you smoke, you
This-
poke.
Some cool kids. Some Ryan Murphy types.
Yeah, real Ryan Murphy types.
At around 2 a.m., some of them went outside to smoke and watch the lightning. And that was when they noticed the beam on a flashlight scanning the tall grass by the shore nearby as if searching for something. Thinking this was a bit odd, the group of friends watched on and saw the beam had captured an elongated, grayish humanoid-looking creature stretched out on the beach. The eyewitnesses would say, the light sweeps by something in the grass, then it shines back onto it. What was illuminated was very strange. It appeared to be a naked guy crawling around on the grass.
No.
Although it had elongated arms and legs, it was moving kind of fast, crunched over. It only lasted a few seconds, long enough for us all to see it. Then after the thing ran off, the flashlight shines directly at us. It stayed pointing at us until it went out after a few seconds. Creepy.
Wait,
So
who's got the flashlight?
It's a good question. So we were all like, WTF was
Crawler
that?
hunter?
We asked one each other, or maybe they lost one. So we were all like, WTF was that? We asked each other what we saw. We all seen a weird stretched out naked guy. The only explainable thing it could have possibly been was a drunk, gangly naked guy. But I don't think so, because it looked abnormally stretched out. The light pointed at us and it freaked everyone out. It was something strange. I can't say what the height of it was accurately, maybe around 7 feet tall. My husband said it looked like something from a Marilyn Manson music video. I wanted to go down there. I wanted to see if we could find it, but no one would go back. But no one would go, and they were creeped out and wanted to go back inside.
I think I would.
I mean, what if it was somebody shooting a music video?
Story like maybe they were doing without permits. So the
Yeah.
guy freaked and ran.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I'm not SAG.
Yeah. Geez. The author goes on to say, what on earth was the outlandish thing that they saw? One case file on the national. There have been sightings of something similar and equally baffling around the town of Effingham in the state of Illinois. Shout out. One case file of the National Cryptid Society is dated as 2010 and concerns a witness known only as Jade. The witness was allegedly out one night, headed for the supposedly haunted Casbar Cemetery. Rock the Casbar.
Rock the Casbar.
Out in the deep woods outside of Effingham, along with two friends. When they were out in the countryside at around 1 a.m. in the morning, something very curious congealed out of the night.
Ooh, now that's a particular verb right there. Go on.
Excellent prose from the writers over at Mysterious Universe.
What? Show me the congealed creature.
The witnesses would say, I see something with yellow eyes off to the side of the country road just past the ditch in the headlights. Too short to be a deer, but too big to be a possum or a raccoon. As we get closer, it gets clearer, and I realize what I'm looking at is a skinny, hairless, and gray human. But definitely not human. Crazy as hell looking thing. It was crouched down. Its arms were incredibly long and looked like it could have been 7 feet tall or bigger standing. I can feel myself get cold and my heart race and my hair stand on that back of my neck. Complete shock and terror set in, and I can't make a sound. I'm just staring at it. By that time, we are right in front of it, passing it, and it just watches us drive by. It slinks into the dark. Then we all just start screaming, literally freaking the hell out. I was convinced it was a demon for months, but still doubted myself even seeing it, thinking my mind was playing tricks on me. We didn't even make it to the Casbar that night. We went straight home. I couldn't sleep that night. Wow.
That's fair. That is fair and accurate
Fair.
and realistic.
Spooky and fair.
A jaundice man, if you will.
We got
I
a
was gonna
couple-
say, this could still be a drunk man laying out. on
Sure.
the side.
Could be. Could be. All right, we got a couple more encounters, and then I'm gonna pass it over to you, Raj.
Oh.
Okay. The witness went on to become convinced that what she had seen was a ghoul, or an entity that lurks around feeding on the dead. She would say of this, They feed on the freshly dead and normally stay close to cemeteries to be close to food. They've been known to show themselves to humans when trying to get close to them to eat in times where fresh deceased bodies are scarce. I went to images of them and could only find illustrations, but they look exactly like what I saw that night. Everything I was reading was falling perfectly into place, lined up perfectly with my experience. I couldn't explain it away. Also,
I can see that being a ghoul,
I know, right?
like a super emaciated, like that would
Truly.
make the
A
arms and
Wendigo
legs
type
seem
creature.
longer
Yeah. Well, she was heading out to the
to the cemetery.
going legend tripping, And if you do that, far out, loop us in, send us pictures, please be careful. I couldn't explain it away, she says. Also in the state of Illinois is a case from the town of Rossville, a town full of Rosses.
Get out of here.
I wish. Not in like a concentration camp sense. I don't think we should put all Rosses in the town. I just want to be clear.
I mean,
about
it's weird that you just made that jump naturally, like it was
damn
something
it.
you've been thinking about for years now. But
I have friends named Ross. I don't at all. Also in the state of Illinois, right, Rossville. In 2010, the setting was at a cemetery and the time was, again, cemetery. Time was just after sunset. The witness and a friend were walking down the main lane through the cemetery lane when something fairly weird scuttled out of the night. The witness would say, something came running from the gate and passed us on our left. My friend had laughed and asked if I had heard that, and I stopped walking and responded that no, but I had seen it. As the thing had passed between headstones, I caught a look. Looked like a pale, emaciated humanoid that was running on all fours. It had no hair at all that I could see, and I did not get a good look at the face. It was moving far faster than any person running on hands/feet should have been able to. My friend and I just stayed frozen and waited for another friend to come and get us because we were too scared to move. It continued to circle us as we could hear it moving around. It never seemed threatening. If anything, it seemed curious/scared of us. But who knows? I do know that it was not a coyote or a stray dog. I never saw the face, but I did see the head. It did not have a muzzle. There was no tail either. It definitely didn't have fur. It had pale, almost bluish skin, and I remember I could make out the ribs from where I was standing. Forgive me if this is a hot mess of a post. I was up all night researching this thing. When I did fall asleep, I didn't sleep well. And then
when I did fall asleep, I wrote 20 pages in my sleep.
In a dark
From my
language. I keep trying to read it, but my teeth fall out whenever I do. And then there's a picture of the rake that you might know as some people say it's fake, some people say it's real. I say it's spooky, and I'm scrolling down so I don't have to look at it. Okay.
It's got a lot of those like Descent style creature vibes to it
Big
as well.
Descent vibes.
Yeah.
Big Descent vibes. Other locations have sightings as well, such as Ballard County in western Kentucky. As the witness was driving along the back roads on a gravel road one night at around 2 a.m., he says he caught something in his headlights that startled him to the core. He would say, I caught sight of something in my headlights that startled me to the core. No, I caught sight of something white and vaguely human crawling in the ditch. As we passed, I hit the brakes thinking it was a person who needed help. Are you crazy? Don't fucking stop, Blake screamed. I looked in the mirror and saw that it was standing up. Yeah. Even though it was still in the ditch, it was as tall as the stop sign next to it.
Jesus.
It took a step towards us and I hit the gas. As we drove away, I saw in the mirror that it dropped to all fours and was crawling after us. I didn't start pulling away from it until I got up to about 40 miles per hour. Yikes!
Damn.
No matter how close I was to it, I never got a good look at it. It was fuzzy, like it was constantly out of focus. I'm not
That
sure
guy-
why, but something about it makes me think of it as male. Uh-oh. Man.
I mean, I was going to propose that perhaps the Fresno type is on the other side of a gender spectrum.
Sure. Maybe the height. That's an interesting theory. Like maybe we're talking about like a sexually dimorphic species here.
Very much so.
Interesting. When it crawled, it moved like a lizard. Wait, hang on. When it crawled, it moved like a lizard hands. It's a hyphenated word that they seem to have invented here. When it crawled,
you know
it
what
moved.
lizard hands look like.
It moved like a lizard hands and had flat feet on the ground. Scary. Elbows and knees up and out. The body wiggling side to side. Yikes.
Oh, so they mean like it was like it's on its elbow with its hand forward like a lizard.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep.
Okay.
Don't like any bit of it, but I got it.
That's
Yikes.
way weirder and grosser than I was thinking.
Spooky.
This is why you need a blunderbuss and
This
you
says-
need to load it with silverware just
This
to prepare.
This says just keep that in the back seat at all times. Give it a name. It's bad luck to have a blunderbuss without a name. Oh, we got work, Moira. This happened when I was
Mine's name
around.
is Mr. Belvedere.
This happened when I was around 22. Mine's named Francis. I'm 40 now, and I've never seen that thing again. I've taken many a midnight cruise along those narrow roads, but I've never had the nerve to go near that particular farm road again. Call me a chicken. I'll cluck happily. Hilarious. So there you go, guys. That is one of 2 articles that Mysterious Universe has done about the Pale Crawlers. This is an article from 2016. Next episode, I'm going to read another article from them from 2018, and we'll learn a little bit more. But yikes-a-roo, squad.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Mhm.
And they seem to be kind of regionally centered. I mean, they're not
Yeah.
terribly far from each other, Kentucky and Illinois.
Yeah. And that's the end of my segment that I'm calling Crawler's Ball.
Nice.
Thank you.